All right. 4 years in the making. The jury handed down a verdict, an hour and 56 minutes. I believe. I might be a little off with the time, but very quickly they dropped the verdict down last night. It was an amazing Friday night. I'm not going to spoil it.
Everybody understand that? I see everybody nodding their heads. Okay. All right, State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
If you don't know anything about this case, Sarah Boone unalived her boyfriend at the time, Jorge Torres, 4 years ago in February of 2020. She zipped him up in a suitcase after a night of them drinking in the house, and left him in it, and he passed away. And she's gone through 9 attorneys, and her 9th attorney is James Owens, who's the one who got her through this trial. So yeah, she is actually this happened in my county. This is a very big case in my city. I live in Orlando. She lives in Orlando. Well, she lives off 33rd, which is our main jail here in the city. So yeah, this is where this happened was in Winter Park, which is like 25 minutes from us. So yeah, it's just crazy. I just want to say before I forget, I absolutely adore this judge. I know I say that very frequently, I feel like, but I like to shout out judges when they are just, I don't know. I just feel like he was not biased about anything and was just very level-headed. But yeah, enough of me talking. Let's get into the verdict.
Defense, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
This was a really long day for them too, because they started at 9 and they were going to end by 10. And the verdict came in, I think, just before 10. They're tired. You can tell, all of them. And I have so many questions wondering, like, I can Google them, I know, and I'm going to. Just like, where does everybody hang out? I know the judge is like in his chambers, whatever. But like the family waiting for the victim or waiting for the verdict. I don't know. I gotta Google this though. If you know, comment down below. I do have to shout out to James Owens. Drinking the Coke Zero. I keep my Coke Zero in this one. Okay. And my water in this one. Now you're probably thinking I drink more of the Coke Zero. No. I drink over 1.5 gallons of water a day, thanks to good old lithium. My mouth is always dry, and that is why I'm always going to the bathroom during these recordings. Okay, sorry.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, sir.
Right. Members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk. if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit and in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the state of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been signed by the foreperson.
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Juror seat number 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 2, is this your true?
So guilty of second degree murder. If you don't know, the state offered Sarah Boone a 15-year plea. She refused to take it. I don't know if that's still on the table once. I don't see why that would still be on the table, but like I was watching Lawyer, last night I actually watched his channel and watched the verdict like on his channel or whatever. And there was a part where it kind of confused me where kind of sounded like they could she could still that just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you offer it and then you offer it and if they don't take it they get the worst charge? That's the whole point. So that made no sense to me, but they're going to pull for the defense for appellate issues.
Yes, it is. Juror seat number 3, is this your true and correct verdict? Juror seat number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
By the way, I know I'm a very small, extremely small channel, and I just started dabbling into true crime. Well, I've always loved true crime, but made it my main focus on my channel. If you were one of the jurors on this panel and you want to talk about it, please, my email is in my description. I have so bad, I kept telling like everyone in my family and like, I don't have friends, but I'm like, well, like on Instagram, whatever. I'm like, if any of you guys get on this jury, obviously you can't talk about it during it. I'm like, you better tell me afterwards and you better tell me everything. But yeah.
Members of our jury, again, I want to thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and your attention in this matter. I know that we spent almost 2 weeks together, and it was not taken lightly, and I really appreciate the time and the effort and the sacrifice that you put into this case. I want to advise you now of your final instruction. Members, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and your consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special.
So, Sarah Boone, her entire personality, everything is very challenging for me to understand. I'm hoping that there's a one of those body language experts or whatever. I'm sure there has been videos on it. I just need to look it up and sit down and actually watch it and not F around on my phone. I want to like understand her more, just like her lack of everything. But also at the same time, like there's really not much to understand because she's got addiction issues, which I have addiction issues. I've been in recovery for over 3 years from alcohol. But to just do what she did to him and I just don't understand. And that's one of my bad problems is I always want to understand people. I want to understand like what makes them tick, why they do this or that, why they don't show emotion, why do they show too much that's just how I am. Yeah, so
Privileges enjoyed by jurors. No fault with you from the media. Mr. Owens, do you plan on presenting any evidence during the course of the sentencing hearing, sir?
Probably some testimony from Dr. Harper.
Okay, all right. how long do you think, state, that you would need?
So they just go over sentencing here, and I know that the minimum that she is facing is 22 years. I believe right now she's 46. So we're talking minimum. So yeah. I do want to go to, while we're on this topic, I want to go over James Owens' interview right after. Here he is. Oh, that was a month ago. Man, I might not be able to find it. I don't know what it was on. He basically just, wait, does he do music? After verdict. Well, no idea. Maybe. Okay. So here's James Owens after the verdict, and let's listen to it.
Some more after she's had some time to think about it. I've had some time to think about it, but we're obviously really disappointed. We did the best that we could, in the time that we had to prepare. Sarah really liked the team, and we all got along with the 3 lawyers and the other 2 girls that have helped the other 4 lawyers working on the case. And Sarah was, as you know, really happy with us. And, we had some disagreements about how the case should proceed. And Sarah, is opinionated, and some of the things we considered, some not. But ultimately, I think she was happy with the defense. It just didn't go our way. As you know, these trials, a murder charge is a difficult case to beat. And there was some strong evidence that the state used, obviously. And we just, for whatever reason, the jury didn't consider some of the things that we felt like.
A jury is not going to consider anything when there's videos and evidence that the state provides of her boyfriend zipped in a suitcase begging for his life. There's Alan Jackson could come in here and it's not going to save the day. And I love Alan Jackson.
Should have potentially been defenses, the justifiable use of force under the battered spouse syndrome, but for whatever reason, we respect the jury's decision. They've been here for 2 weeks. Took us 4 days to pick the jury, and so I'm sure they did the very best that they could under the circumstances.
Was it her decision to not take the plea deal? Or you think she regrets it now?
Careful.
I don't
Be very careful.
think she would have taken anything. I think she wanted, some clients, they want their day in court, and I don't believe she would have taken anything.
Like, instead of saying that, okay, and I don't want to be overly critical, I probably would have said she believes she's innocent. She wasn't going to take a plea deal because she absolutely believes she's innocent, not she wanted her day in court. That could have a lot. I feel like Twitter might go a little wild with that comment, that she wanted her day in court.
I felt like the state should have probably negotiated a little bit more, but they were firm that she felt like, I did, obviously.
Sorry.
And that this was just a circumstance because they were both intoxicated. Things happened that, it was just really unintentional act. So I think she felt any kind of a murder conviction or pleading to any kind of a murder that she was somehow criminally responsible for George's death. And I think that's where her mindset was. And, I think she would have gone to trial even without lawyers. She was ready to go to trial pro se. I think she was happy we came in. We worked as hard as we could. We had about 45 days to get ready, and we did it all the way we could. So I think she feels good about our efforts. We put everything out on the table, just like any other contest. You do the very best you can, and then you have to accept the decision by the jury. We respect the jury and appreciate their time and attention on the case.
Will you be representing her on her appeal?
No, I'll be representing her
Quick no there.
at her sentencing, but not the appeal. I think she would qualify since she's indigent for court-appointed appellate counsel, and those guys, that's all they do is appellate work, and those are probably the best lawyers to handle something like that. But we're, as I said, really disappointed. Sarah is kind of in shock, but we respect the jury's decision. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
All right, so that was James Owens after the fact. I think the prosecution also did an interview, so give me one sec.
All these lenses, that's what we're saying. Okay. All right. Everybody ready?
Yes.
All right. So today, as many of you know, Sarah Boone was convicted of second-degree murder of her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr. These events stem from an incident from February 23rd of 2020, where she zipped her boyfriend up in a suitcase in what she claimed to be a game of hide and seek. And 2 videos were introduced from her where he was begging for his life, and a horrific turn of events. And she didn't try to let him out. She didn't do anything to help him. She just went upstairs and went to sleep. And so this is a very horrific homicide. Nobody really should have to endure this type of struggle and fight for their lives and have to die alone, begging for their last breath.
So the son of Sam law, I've heard this passed around a lot, and it's basically where it's a law that prevents criminals from profiting from the publicity of their crimes. And that is a law in Florida. So Mrs. Boone will not be able to write little fairy tale books in her prison, sell them to buy top ramen.
Amazing work. I'm thankful for our chief of homicide, Will J, and our assistant state attorney, Dave Cacciatore.
Oh, now this is just my opinion as just a normal person, not an attorney, obviously. I didn't care for whoever this guy is. Let me move my big old head. This guy, I think, is Mr. Cacciatore. I just felt like I keep moving you guys around. I don't know. I said it in the opening statements video. His analogies, I don't know. He just didn't give me that oomph. He didn't give it to me. Now, I think the guy that they're referring to as Mr. J, I did like his stuff. So, but either way, they got their conviction. So clearly, how they presented their evidence, the video, got them the guilty charge.
Some of you caught me in the courtyard. I get briefings about it every single day about what they've been doing, but we're excited that they were able to bring this home with a victory because today justice was served with the conviction of Sarah Boone for this very horrific homicide that occurred. And so if you have any questions, I'm going to turn it over to them.
So strong.
Yes, we're very happy to gain some closure for the Torres family and some justice for George.
Strong closing arguments from the both of you today. What do you think, like she said, this case means for the family and getting justice for George Torres?
Yeah, I think after 4.5 years and the numerous delays, I think they were finally just happy to see this case go to trial and be able to put this one in the books.
What do you think the appropriate sentence should be?
We'll reserve comment to the sentencing hearing.
Do you expect the verdict to come back that quickly? I think it was an hour and 20-something minutes, very fast.
We should never have expectations.
Okay, I had them confused. This is Mr. Cacciatore. He is the one I liked. Jay, Mr. J, I didn't. He reminds me of one of my uncles that I really dislike. It just gives very like Einstein of bagels vibes. I just don't like it. And to be fair, these guys are fucking tired, you guys. They're tired. They've probably been doing this fucking fight for so long, nonstop. They probably just want to go home and spend time with their family, eat and relax and just regenerate.
About the case law with respect to Martinez, I know there was a strongly worded letter you all signaled you will be sending. Is that right for judicial review higher up?
Can't really talk about future legal arguments.
Between you and James Owens, there's obviously moments of tension and then also moments of levity. Was this different than a typical battle that you go into?
I wouldn't say it was different than a different relationship than with most defense attorneys.
What would you say to the jurors who were here for about 2 weeks on this case? It was a long jury selection and then, of course, a lot of evidence to look at and all of that. What would you want to say to them?
Just thank them for their service.
Will, did you know that it was Jorge Torres' mother who broke down in court today, and that was the reason for the bit of an outburst?
I was made midway afterwards. It happens in these cases.
Do you have a chance to talk to her and say something?
I've not yet.
I know you did.
I spoke to her along with the rest of the Torres family after the verdict. And just listen to them.
Rebuttal yesterday from you guys. What do you think that evidence showed the jurors and meant for this case?
Not going to really talk about the evidence.
Final question from me is, are you stunned?
Why even do it? I mean, why even do an interview? There's no point. Oh my gosh. Do you guys remember the lead prosecutor? God, I can't even believe I forgot his name. I'm going to look it up right now on my phone. Prosecutor Creighton Waters. Do you guys remember? Number one, he was just a fucking lion. That whole case. Creighton Waters, how he was after was amazing. And I just, for some reason, expect every prosecutor to have that same freaking energy. And Mr. Stale fucking Dusty Bread over here ain't doing it for me.
It's not for us to say.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
How awkward. All right, that's it for Sarah Boone. I can't. It's crazy. This case is over. But if you liked this video, you need to do that physically and like it. Click that button. Subscribe if you're into this stuff. Drop some comments on what you think about, or what you think, or what you thought, or what you're still thinking about this case. What do you think the sentence is going to be? By the way, we also need to find out when sentencing is going to be. I want to say I heard December 2nd, but that could be in another trial that I watched a verdict in. So, all right, see you in the next one.